Hello everybody. Um, I am here doing the full moon eclipse forecast for Resonant Essentials. Um, it's going to be a blood moon and it's going to be an eclipse, so it's kind of a big deal. Um, so my name is Monica Udale with Star Sphinx Astrology, Tarot, and Art, and I am doing the forecast through Resonant Essentials. As I said, I also facilitate the astrology group um, that is usually. Sorry, I'm a little confused sometimes. So I also facilitate the astrology group that is often we meet every third Saturday of the month, and some Saturdays we have a special guest speaker and sometimes we don't. It's just, a round table, and sometimes it's me. I also do a beginner's class. If you want to sign up for that, you can go ahead and email me at monica.g.astrology@gmail. So, now that we've got the housekeeping out of the way, I just want to start with, it's going to be a Virgo full moon, so that means the sun is going to be in Pisces and the moon is going to be in Virgo. And this is an eclipse, which is a big deal. And the next 2 weeks is going to be the eclipse portal. Right now, we already have Venus retrograde. We're going to also have Mercury retrograde starting tomorrow evening. The eclipse is this evening. And I have an excellent little graphic to show you. If I could just find it really quick. And it shows where, yep, there we go. That's us. Yeah. And so as you can see, I stole this, or I borrowed it, or I free used it from Wink News. So this is where the eclipse is going to be visible in the entirety of the continental United States, the entirety of basically the North America. And so that's pretty exciting. I wish this was. My desk is an L shape, so I can't totally block out everything from this corner. However, I do have, things a little bit centered. So anyways, yeah, so the eclipse will be entirely visible from wherever you are tuning in. I'm in Mountain Daylight Savings Time, spring forward. So I'm going to be right in the middle of where we can see it's going to turn blood red. So it's a blood moon eclipse, which is exciting and beautiful. And, eclipses happen twice a year. And some are visible, some are not. This one is visible. And so it's important that we recognize that the ones that are visible are extra special because they have an effect on our consciousness. Solar eclipses are much more powerful, obviously. However, there's no need to be too confused or too concerned about it. This is the timing, and I included the timing in this description of this video as well. If you want to go ahead and view that, that would be awesome. That's something you can do. So it's going to start tonight before midnight, actually right around 9:57, so 10 o'clock ish, and then it's going to continue until 12:26, and then that's when the moon will be totally blood red. And then the maximum full eclipse is going to be around 1:30 in the morning, and then it sort of ends at 2:45. and then 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So this is why I'm doing this eclipse forecast today, so that you can have a chance to go ahead and view um, the eclipse, and it's excited and exciting and all that stuff. Um, and it's, get your stuff doing. Um, that would be fantastic. Um, so, yeah. Boop, boop, boop. What am I doing? I'm pressing something. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at right now. So this is something that, astrology is very um, touch centered, or not touch centered. It's centered in the real world. It's not something that you could just feel. You have to have actual physical bodies, or there's a lot more to it than just, instinct or mediumship or gut instinct. There's, mathematics involved. And this is one of the mathematical things that we can time is, time soul mathematics, and an illusion. Um, so this is actually going to be what's going on this evening, this night. So go ahead and view that, so that you can, experience it. It's beautiful to watch. It doesn't, picture very well unless you have a special picture. But other than that, it's fantastic. Okay, let's bring this open. So this is the actual horoscope of the eclipse, and I changed some things up from last time. Last time I had a few of the asteroids in there, and I think it was making things a little bit confusing for people. And I wanted to just keep this simple. So this is the full moon in Virgo, and it's an eclipse. So what an eclipse means, it's next to the dragon's head and tail, the sun or the moon, or sun and moon are next to the dragon's head and tail. And if you see my little plus sign, you can see it circling right here. And so that it just makes an opposition, and so it means that they're aligned on a plane, and that alignment is what makes the eclipse. And so the moon is conjunct the dragon's tail right now, so she's actually in a different location. It's significant whether the sun is conjunct the head or the tail, and the moon is conjunct the head or the tail. Later this year, when the sun gets around to Virgo, which is September time, the sun will actually go ahead and be conjunct this tail, and then the full moon eclipse then will be in Pisces, and Pisces will be conjunct the north node, or the head of the dragon. And so we see that this eclipse is pretty significant because it's happening at these critical degrees, especially with Neptune right here conjunct at the bottom. If you see Neptune, the little trident symbol, you see him conjunct at the bottom with the eclipse. So it has a strong Neptune energy. They're actually being enclosed on both sides between Saturn and Neptune, and it's reality and the unreal, bringing a world to light. It's also, the reality and the victims of that reality. And Venus is retrograde, and so we expect to see the Venus star point come through anytime soon. Should be in Aries, I believe, or Gemini. She's coming soon. And Mercury is stationed. Yes, Mercury will be going retrograde tomorrow. So everything is happening all at once. It's just hitting at once, which can be a little stressful for people. So you don't really sometimes know, when stuff pops off in your life, you don't know, oh, is this going to be a Venus retrograde issue, and so that's going to last a few months. Is it a Mercury retrograde issue? Then that's going to last a couple of weeks or a few weeks, just 3 weeks. Or is it an eclipse issue, which is going to last about 6 months, and the effects are last up to 19 years later. Like it's a cycle that follows this 19 years near pattern. Um, but this 6 months, it'll set a tone, this eclipse. And so we could see, Neptune, which is religious, persons, and delusional persons, which can be, they can coincide, and sometimes they're not always the same person. Sometimes they are. We'll just accept that. And then there's, practical restriction. And so it could be that people are realizing the restrictions put on to them by their religion and causing them to be a victim, especially with that Venus retrograde in Aries right there. Women are understanding that this isn't fair. This isn't fair to them. Some of these practices. And so Mars, let me see him. Mars is square that Venus, but barely, and it's going to stay out of sign. It's actually trine Saturn. So the practical reality is going to rule the day. And Mercury station is always significant. It's a moment for Mercury is stopped and looks. That's when Mercury stops and starts to do its little backsliding and make us, stress out. And this Mercury retrograde seems like it's going to be a big issue. Or not, I don't know. Hopefully not. I've already had Mercury retrograde issues, but it could be eclipse issues as well. And it could be Venus issues as well. So it's all, it's all eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point. The more intense the sensation, it depends on what it's coming from. Because the eclipse is going to be a lot more knock you on your booty. And that's what we're talking about today, the blood moon eclipse. And so one of the things that I notice with this eclipse chart is that the moon isn't joined by anything. So it's a lot less to do with the mood, and actually the vibes are less fluid and more stagnant, especially with this Saturn over here in the bottom. You see Saturn? Especially with Saturn involved. And we always forget to include like Jupiter doing its thing over here in Gemini, but there's a something to consider that, Jupiter is in its fall or its detriment, a little bit of both. No, it's in its detriment, sorry. Yeah, it's in its detriment because it's normally ruled by Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is a double-bodied sign, but a straight arrow. It's straight shooter. And so with Gemini, it's the twins. It's the double-bodied, completely double-bodied sign. And so it's Castor and Pollux. And the things that are being said are more outrageous because it's Jupiter, and it's has double meanings, double going back and forth, where it's this is said, but it means that. It's saying, oh, it's just a joke because it's a jokester, but are they really joking? And so be aware of that just floating out here doing its thing during this time, because he is in sign square if not completely square, this eclipse. And so the next 6 months is going to be more of the double speak, as if, if you're familiar with the term and where it comes from. It's going to be more of the double speak that we need to be prepared with, especially with Mercury retrograde station sextiling it. So this is a sextile at four degrees apart, and it's a wide sextile, but it's an approaching sextile. So it's, if you think of approaching or applying versus separating aspects, separating is the breathing out. Imagine it's like the universe taking a breath into an intention. And the intention is what this aspect is doing, right? So we consider this intention, and when it's separating, it's the breath out. But when it's applying or it's approaching, you know, either word works, but applying is the term mostly used. It's the in breath. And the exact moment is that pinnacle of holding the breath. So this is an intention with breathe in, it's applying. So it's on that in breath of the universe where it's like not letting go. It's breathing it in, breathing in the intention of this station. And that's something to be considerate of and remember, and also not to be afraid of. You know, it's a time to listen to what people do rather than what they say, because Aries is the sign of action, and so you know they may be duplicitous in their saying their aggressive words, but if their actions are not aggressive, then it's not an aggressive stance or similar. Make sure people walk the walk instead of just talk the talk before you make a judgment, and always use your gut instinct and protect yourself. Um, and I don't know why I'm being so negative. There's um, Venus conjunct Mercury, so it's actually really softened, and women are taking a bigger um, role in public life during this time. And so we're going to go ahead and go through the signs and see what this eclipse is going to bring for you, and what's the best um, option, and what's the best, what you're going to be doing, how this eclipse is going to affect you. So let's start with Aries. So for Aries, this eclipse is going to happen in your. And so I put it as 0 degrees Aries. Please adjust for, your own chart. And it's always important to know your house placements in your chart, at least roughly. And that's something that you could learn with my beginners class. It's also something that you can pick up slowly with our astrology group that meets the third Saturday of every month. This month we're meeting we always meet from 1 to 3, and we're going to be discussing everything that's going into Aries. And so Aries risings, you're really going to be getting it, because all of these planets, 1, 2, 3, will be going to Aries later this year. And so this is going to be an intense eclipse for you, because all of the things that happens in the 12th house. So it's all your gut feelings, gut instincts, and it's going to bring a lot of issues in your daily home, things about your routine or your pets or your daily activities, your daily work, that really needs to be shined a light on and eclipsed by practical realities, and also emotional and spiritual considerations. Maybe it's time to take up a spiritual practice that you have been ignoring before, because the spiritual practice could be a very practical one, something that involves movement or grounding, something that's very Virgo esque. So, and like an act of service that you use as a an option to meditate. You know, like if you, for example, and not a suggestion, you take a you join an organization that helps feed people, and you're building, you know, the little sacks, and that becomes your meditation. There's also acts of service, as well as a moment of you of repetitive motion, and a chance for you to focus on what's important in your life. And the, you know, the Resonant Essentials always has like a meditation group going on. um, Mars is still rolling in your fourth, so that's, you know, still troubles at home, but you'll get through it because Mars is going to be going into Leo soon. And he's totally done with Cancer. Like, it's at 18, so not totally, but yeah, it's not coming back for another 2 years. So we're good. Let's go for Taurus. Taurus, all of this is happening in your 12th house. And so, much like Aries, this is going to be um, about you. This is going to be about you developing a meditation period, a time for you to find service, but also find a meditative routine. And I don't want to keep using the word meditative, something that connects you to the divine in your daily practice. You know, there's a Buddhist saying that before enlightenment, you chop wood and you carry water. And then after enlightenment, you chop wood and carry light water. Um, and so finding, you know, your finding the divine in the mundane is very much what this Saturn Neptune eclipse portal is all about. And also be gentle with yourself in words, and also advocate for yourself. Venus is, you know, softens that Mercury, but Venus in Aries, even though she's not really good there, that's not her usual spot. It does bring something of an advocate, a warrior princess, you know, to to the sign and the placement. Okay, can you see me? Oh, that just messes up. Never mind. So Taurus, you know, you have a lot of the same, and you're still going through um, Taurus in the first house. If you have Taurus in the first house cusp, you're still having that Uranus transferring um, your first house, and so that's been a nightmare for the past 7 years. And this year, Uranus will be entering Gemini, and so you will get a reprieve, and Uranus will be leaving, and you'll be through with that transit. You know, these radical changes to your physical body, to your understanding of life, to yourself, are finally over with, and you've dealt with it. And you know, for better or worse, this is the end of that transit, and it's probably um, been quite a shock, but it's also been very good for you if you stop and get through it and um, think about it, because Uranus is not necessarily um, a negative placement. Uranus in not placement, planet. It brings progress through changes, and so it is a progressive rather than a regressive um, excuse me, planet. And so the changes that you've been making for these past 7 years have been for progress. Okay, let's look at Gemini risings. And again, if you guys are interested in what these all mean, I do teach a class on that. All right, Gemini risings. You guys, you're still doing, Jupiter in the first and dealing with that. But this eclipse is happening in your 11th and 5th houses. So this is really a time to solidify your idealistic plans, your idealistic future plans and goals, and connect with your friendships in a different way. And it's really going to eclipse some of your hobbies. You might get a new hobby. Um, you might get how should I put it? Um, a new romance. And romance, not necessarily partnership, but really just a romantic experience in life. And so for Gemini risings, this is, you're going to have some friendship issues. Your friends are going to have some issues because of the station and the retrograde along with this eclipse. And so those issues are easier to deal with than some other placements, but they're still frustrating. And it's going to be, at least a 2 month window for this to happen because the next eclipse happens in 2 weeks when it's a new moon, and the moon will be over here with the sun. Um, and so it could be for 2 weeks or for 6 months. And then in the longer term, you could be setting a cycle up for a 19-year cycle. So, Gemini raisings, you've gained some weight. It's time to lose weight. You've been focusing on yourself. Really make it happen. This, bringing joy and abundance to your physical body and rejoicing in it has been really a great experience for you. But this is going to end by June or July, unfortunately. So get it in while you can. Alrighty, Cancer rising. Okay, so Mars is still in your first house, which is, whew, yeah, people be testing you. Um, and this eclipse hits your fourth, 10th axis. So family, oh my goodness, you know, um, Cancer, you're very sensitive to your family issues, and this eclipse hits those family issues hard. And it could be a good thing because the moon is in her domicile in the fourth house, or in her joy, I guess. No, it's her domicile. She naturally rules the fourth house. So she's at home there. But, between your parents and your extended family, there's going to be, some communication issues, some angry words could be said, but there's also a lot of advocacy for someone in the family who's been getting a raw end of the deal. And it's also a time to be realistic about, the dreams you had of this family, of your extended family, extended relations, as well as be realistic about how delulu you were about them. Saying, they're they're not there, they are there, they're everywhere. It's really going to be quite the effect for you. And so, don't don't stress too much about it, especially since this is just a passing phase. But these 2 weeks are going to be a little intense for you, and these 3 weeks will continue to have that intensity. Okay, let's go look at Leo. Leo. Okay. Alrighty, Leo. 3rd and 9th. So, we're going to consider communications, and commerce in this transit for you, in this experience for you. And so there could be, issues with getting around town, getting around like short small trips, like, there could be construction that's in your way, or there's, some issue with your vehicle, or it's just there's 100 different things it could be. But also it affects your philosophies and how you get about your day-to-day business. And it's really about how you engage with your community and your philosophy on how to engage with your community. And so when you're going to be considering your, I don't want to use the word philosophy because there's, it doesn't exactly touch on what it's going to be about, your values and your religious positions and your um, understanding of the world, and also like higher learning type situations. So the more complex your political opinions or religious opinions or philosophical opinions, they're really going to take effect into your community. And so that's where they walk back and forth. And so you might be changing things up just a little bit, and getting with the program and getting realistic about the help that you need, the structure that you need, because some of your ideals and your philosophies are a little, they're a little delulu, to be honest. They're delusional. And you don't want to they're idealistic, but they're not realistic. And that's with the Saturn Neptune um conjunction in this ninth house, you know, with the eclipse sun. That's really what's going to be at the table for you, this eclipse. And I don't want to say everybody with Leo rising is delusional in all aspects. It's just there's some parts of your ideation or thoughts that are a little ridiculous, and you need to get realistic with it. Get come to Jesus, get down to earth. I don't know, come to Jesus is not gonna like um in this group, but it's as a turn of phrase. I mean it, not necessarily religious find religion. So yeah, your philosophy needs a little overhaul, a little tweaking, and some of it could be because you need to start advocating in some way for somebody or some values that you have. Okay, Virgo. All right, this is your second and eighth houses. So it could be financial issues. It's likely to be financial issues. It could also be occult um, connections. Um, and it also could be issues with debt, and also somebody may close to you may die, or somebody you know may die. You'll be visited by death in a conscious way. It's not that you necessarily will die, but you will experience a relationship with death during this eclipse that could alter your perception on it, alter your values on it, because that's what the second house. And it could be something as simple as um, watching a video of an animal being shot, and that really changes your value system of you know watching this beautiful creature go through the last moments of its life, and that changes your values a little bit. um, and you'll see in this chart, it shows that the moon is already in Libra, but I had to set it up this way so that I could see the chart for Virgo risings. So the moon will not be in Libra when this hits you. The moon will be in Virgo, and it'll be a little bit into your first house depending on how late it is. So let's see here. Charts. Virgo, Libra. Okay, so this should be happening close to your ascendant if you're an early Libra. If you're late, not so much. Um, And so this should be happening in your 6th and your 12th house, but it's going to be similar to the Aries rising and almost opposite. It could actually be hitting your 7th house as well. Um, and so, relationships are going to take a hit, business partnerships. And the hit, I mean, is like there's going to be some shocking revelations or shakeups in that area. Or you could be getting a new partnership or relationship. Um, like this um, rattles your doors there, rattles your windows a little bit. And so between the first and the 7th houses and the 6th and the 12th, there's a big difference between setting up your meditative practices and your daily practices, and also how you view yourself and your partnerships. And it might be a situation where you actually have to let let the partnership lead the way rather than focus on yourself, or vice versa. You know, it is an eclipse, so it could be that it's, eclipsing you in some way, or you feel that it's eclipsing you. And, don't let that get to you too much. Um, don't let that, it passes. And also, with the Venus Mercury conjunction, it's an opportunity to advocate for yourself in a different way, and so it could spur you to make some changes, or dig in your heels. Sometimes the scales need to be tipped, and that's okay. Scorpio risings, let's do this. Okay, so this is going to be happening in your 5th and 6th house. Forgive me. I forgot to turn my phone off. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so 5th and 6th house for Scorpio risings. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of that meditative practices that we were talking about earlier with Aries and um, Libra, but also some of the plans, the future plans, and spicy relationships might also be taking a surprising turn. It might also bring to fruition um, potentially a new romance or new relationship. And it's really a period for you to advocate for that, or for yourself in that area, or to be the person to put that um, step forward. Because, Venus kind of likes being in the 5th house. And it's, it might be in the 5th, it might be in the 6th. And so it could be a meditative practice, but also, you do want to take the chance that you've been wanting to take. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. Um, take that plunge. Don't, yeah, especially an eclipse in the 5th house is exciting. It's exciting. Sorry, I had to look down. It was my doggy. He's making a noise, and he's just dreaming. He's dreaming good things. And so he's dreaming happy thoughts. Yeah, and that Mercury station in the 6th, it's something you really need to consider about your daily routine, that needs to take take a change, take a review, reconnect, revision, renew, revisit. Like, just redo something that you do normally, that's part of your daily routine, or your connection with your daily life. So that was Scorpio. Sagittarius risings. Okay, hi. So this is happening in the 4th and 10th houses for you. And so it's going to be a thing where it really is about your family and your extended family. And it's going to bring in some of that energy, the same as Cancer risings, where there's going to be a little bit of drama there, and there's going to be a chance to um, reconnect and revise, and advocate for values that you usually have. And Mercury still will be retrograde, will be stationed on going retrograde at this time. And so a lot of that connecting with family and familial ties, some of the difficulties that you could be going through are really taking a hit. Um, there's really being a light shined upon the difficult times that the family has been having, um, or the religious or spiritual paths and journeys are really going to be illuminated and brought more to a practical mundane reality during this eclipse. And yeah, it's going to be, that Venus retrograde. It's always a great time to re reconnect with your values and the things that you love, especially within it when it's in the fourth house. Reconnect with your loved ones um, directly and aggressively. Be like, you know what, I miss you. I want to see you. You're my family. I love you. That sort of thing. Don't, beat around the bush about it. Be direct. Say what you mean. Um, and sometimes it's, a little bit different, but use the words that work for you. Sagittarius and Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn is third and ninth houses, so you're going to be having a lot of the similarities that, what was it, Leo having? Yeah, and so it's going to be community issues, either getting around town or getting, from, your short little trips, or long trips in philosophy is going to be, changed. It could be something in your community change is affecting how you look at the world. And so you're going to be noticing more things in your community that's changing, or it could also be siblings, and siblings or cousins that you're close in age to, or close to, childhood playmates, that you're going to be noticing that there's difficulties and there's suffering in some of these areas in your community that you really want to change or help or make a difference in. And so Mercury station during this period is going to give you a chance to really dig deep and review what the issues are that are affecting you, that are bothering you. And the retrograde is going to be going all over all these positions, and so it'll give you a chance to reconnect with what you really are seeing, and it's going to go ahead and affect your philosophy on the world, how you view the world, based on your connection with your community. And that's what's going to happen during this um, full moon eclipse. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to Aquarius. Aquarius, look at you getting a little kite. So, this is second and eighth houses, so a lot like Virgos. You're going to be having some, I think it was Virgos. Was it Virgos? Now I don't remember. Well, it was somebody. Okay, we're going to have to go back and check. But let me tell you, this is, financial stuff that's coming to head, and also how you view your physical body. First house is the physical body, and so is the second house. But the first house is a lot more vibes and appearance. Second house is actually your relationship with your body, the food you feed it, the values that you hold about your body and how you value it, period. And so this eclipse is gonna like really connect with you're gonna connect with how you treat your body as a vehicle. You know, it's the phrase, are you a body or do you have a body? And so you're going to connect with the body that you have, or recognize that you are a body, and some of the mood or emotional issues, or philosophical struggles that you deal with are actually physically related. They're actual, you know, you have spiritual issues. You're having spiritual blockages, and it's partially because of how you treat your actual body, and it's just manifesting in that way. And so that's one way to do it, or one way to look at it. It could be also that there's just financial surprises in for you for this eclipse. And so, with the Mercury retrograde, um, don't make any drastic changes or decisions for at least 3 weeks, because you're going to have to revisit them once it's out of retrograde, or when the next retrograde comes to town. All right, to Pisces. Let's do you. First house, Pisces. Okay. Yeah, Saturn in your first, Pisces. You're having a rough time. You and it's okay. You'll get through this. And this is, you're really feeling yourself. You really, Pisces rising and Pisces in general don't really like to be connected to reality. And Saturn in Pisces has been forcing you to have both feet on the ground. And this eclipse is going to be no different. And so, one of the good things is you could do is to connect with the magic that is reality, be very Virgo-esque about it, like the moon over here on her own. And, viewing the eclipse for you would actually be very healing during this period, especially since you've been having Saturn go through your first house for, a year and a half or so. And it's, this will change. This will come to an end, and it's going to be leaving your first house soon, by the end of the year next year. So don't let it get too heavy for you, because Saturn does not like being in Pisces, and nobody likes having Saturn in their first house, either by transit or natally. um, One thing that you do have going for you is this Mars in the fifth house. Like, ooh, spicy love affairs. Have fun and enjoy them. Because, Mars in Cancer isn't all bad things. It could be fun and love and excitement and relationships. Don't be don't be a wet blanket, and you're having a lot of fun with that. So, that's about it. That's all of the signs. Um, ooh, oh, do I have people in my chat? Oh, I do have. Hello! Sorry, I couldn't see the chat coming up. Sorry. So, yeah. Hi. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Or they're not in the chat room. Whatever. Um, I hope you guys are, enjoying it. That was all the signs of the zodiac. I've been streaming for about 50 minutes, and so that's all I've got to say for today. Um, be sure to check out our Johanna Orbital Astrology and I's Mercury Live on Facebook tomorrow. We're going to tell you how to survive Mercury retrograde. Good luck with that, because we've already had a little difficulties, and everybody could use all the luck that we can muster. Um, Also, Saturday we have we have the Everything Going into Aries Astrology group. We're going to be meeting at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So, yeah, I hope to see everybody there or see each other on the Facebook Live. Thank you. Bye.